Hey, this is Panda from BigFatPanda.com. Happy 1-year anniversary to the Grand Circle Tour podcast. I can't wait to be on more episodes. You guys are doing great.
This is Disney artist Kevin John, and I would love to wish the tour guides. Hi, this is Disney artist Kevin John, and I'd like to wish the tour guides over the Grand Circle Tour podcast a very, very happy first anniversary. Congratulations to y'all.
The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. All passengers board.
Star Tours announces the boarding of the Endor Express. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door.
Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I am Sam, the American Eagle, and I am proud to introduce the Grand Circle Tour podcast, a celebration of Disney parks, but mostly the American ones. I really like these guys.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. For those of you who are a bit confused, don't be. This is not live from the Met. This is the Grand Circle Tour podcast, and I'm the voice that you usually hear at the end of the show. Tonight I'm here at the beginning. They call me Ken. I'm occasionally called Kent. You'll usually answer to whatever anybody says as long as there's food involved. I want to take a minute. We'll go around the screen here and introduce everybody because this is the first time since episode 0 everybody's been here together. So let's take a second and go around the screen, and I guess we'll just start right with Caroline. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, Ken. Welcome to our podcast. We're glad you're here for this special episode.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. On next to Caroline, we have got Dan. How are you doing, Dan?
Hey, Ken. How's it going today?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for joining us. Mindy, how are you today?
Hi, I'm so excited you're on, and we are so excited to be back together again. It's like family that doesn't get to see each other enough.
Well, it's wonderful that everybody can be together today. And of course, sitting right next to me here in the, well, I got to say, one of the best rooms I've been in a long time. We got Stan. How you doing, Stan?
Hey, Ken. Welcome to the Solo Studios here in Winnipeg, Canada. It's a bit of a warmer day out than we're used to, and yeah, your first time here at the Solo Studios. You usually record for us and send it in.
Well, you know, it's like I said, I was born with a face for radio, so. And we got George here as well. George, how are you today?
Hey, Ken, welcome aboard.
I think we lost
Oh, there he is. Thank you very much. Thanks for everybody to be here. So we're going to take a few seconds to talk about everybody and your contributions to the podcast, and I think we'll throw some questions out. So first question we'll throw your way, Caroline. How did the podcast happen?
It's okay. I don't count.
Did I forget about Jason?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Jason, I'm sorry. Not that you're not important, Jason. You're probably the most important guy in the room right now. How are you today, Jason?
Aloha, Ken. I'm fantastic. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's really great to be here, and I want to thank you all for inviting me, and I want to thank you all for making me a part of your podcast for the last year. I've had a great time doing the little bit of work that I actually do to help you guys out, but I'm more than happy to join in today. So again, getting back to questions now, because we do have a schedule to meet here, and not that I have any place to be, but Caroline, as we said, first question goes to you. How did the podcast get started?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a miracle, if you ask me. I mean, it's because I don't really know how it got started is the answer. I really don't. I mean, we all just got mysteriously put together, and nobody knew anybody before, right? Right, guys?
Yeah, no, none of us knew each other.
None of us knew each other, and we're in different
Stan
countries.
because I'm enslaved to him. But.
Yeah, so we just got mysteriously put together by somebody on Facebook, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so we, I think everyone else happened the same way as it happened with me. I got a random, mysterious email one day from someone that runs a Disney Facebook page. He said, "Hey, would you like to be involved in a podcast?" I said, "Sure, of course." And I don't know, next thing you know, all of us are together sitting here trying to figure out how to make a podcast happen.
Yeah, I think just to elaborate on that a bit, we did not know each other at all. And we were put into this group and we got to know each other. Oh, this was a span over, I don't know, 5 months, guys.
Yeah, about that.
We talked about it, and the person who kind of started it or put that in our heads, and we got these random emails and said, we all know you love Disney. So would you like to be on a podcast? And I thought, is this real? What? Somebody's pulling my leg. So I had messaged him back. He's like, no, for reals. I see that you are just a Disney diehard, and I've had these other friends, and we started talking in this group, which is now the GCT podcast group. We transferred it there, that we have just for the 8 of us. And we would start talking, and we got to know each other. And the more time went on, we looked at it and said, guys, let's just do this. We all love it. And we all got to know each other, and we all became really, really good friends. And we get on like an hour before, and we will stay 2 hours after, just laughing, getting to know each other. That's where the inside jokes are. We have so much fun and so much outtakes. I think last week, George and Jason had talked for 4 hours. And I just got in and we were talking, but we were having so much fun, guys. And that's really where it came from and how it happened. It like Caroline said, it kind of just happened. It wasn't anything like we knew each other and said, hey, let's have a podcast. We didn't. And the stars aligned, and here we are.
And if I could actually elaborate on Mindy, that was elaborating on Dan, that Dan was elaborating on Caroline. That I was kind of an acquaintance with the person who was putting everything together. So I knew it was legit. I knew, something was going to be put together. And I was previously on another podcast, which didn't go through very well. It ended as soon as it started. But, with your dons, you have your highs. And he said, let's try this again. And I said, okay. And the first time that I met everyone was when we jumped on, I believe was just a talk, just, a conception of what we wanted to do and what we wanted the podcast to become. And as everyone said, I will add on to it. The rest is history. Here we are today, celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. And the interesting part was the person who started it all never even came to our first meeting that we had. And we were meeting in October for a March release date. And we were meeting every week and kind of getting to know each other. And that person that started never even came to that very first meeting or any meetings, which is kind of ironic or different, but we went on without them.
I guess that's kind of why we all take turns hosting our show, because we all thought this one person was going to be the host. And then when that one person wasn't there, we always said, well, who's going to host the show now? And I don't know whose idea it was. We're like, why don't we just rotate? And that's what we do. And I think that's one of the things that works well with this podcast.
Some of us get into a little more trouble than others, but it's okay.
I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I was getting on a plane when I got the message asking me to come on. I just said, sure, talk to you in a week.
Right. Right.
Yep.
I was thinking more like, okay, when do I give you my credit card information?
Yeah, it was really strange, but I'm glad it happened because I have friends in my life that across the United States that I just adore and I'm really close friends with now. And I don't know what my life would be without them because I truly look forward to Sundays when we record. So
it's always a good thing when you get a group of people together that have common interests like that you can all spend some time together, even if you're, thousands of miles apart. Actually, it's always nice that you can kind of keep some time together. I'm going to throw the next question towards Dan. Something you sort of touched on, but maybe elaborate a little bit further. Is it true none of you actually knew each other beforehand?
Yeah, it's 100% true. I mean, none of us. I mean, maybe some of us were Facebook friends. I don't even know if I was Facebook friends with any of you.
I knew Nikki through Facebook, and we did chats, right, and through the WW Radio box. But we never met in person. And that was the only person I ever even associated with any before this all happened.
And the truth is, a couple of us have met in person, but I have not actually met anyone face to face. Never shook any of your hands yet. Yet, Mindy said before that we're all very close because. So I'll give you a little behind the scenes. We do this podcast through Zoom, and we could all see each other while we speak. And
which Mindy, tonight is not such a good thing.
And we usually record on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, usually. And there's times where we're all on sitting here till almost midnight, just chit chatting and laughing away. And those are the things that I think are the fun part about it. And some of the feedback that we've gotten, I mean, great feedback from our passengers, is that it's like we've all known each other for so long. And that's because we do speak about something that we all love and have a passion for, and we joke around with each other and always have a great time.
We have great chemistry.
Well, and beyond that, we've all become friends, and we talk throughout the week.
Yeah,
we talk about our lives and what's going on, and we're there for each other.
We text each other, and oh my gosh, this is going on in our lives, and how are you feeling? We all really care about each other.
And we've all had pretty interesting years, in our own personal lives, I would say. And it's kind of a weird thing. We call it the GCT, I don't know if it's a curse or whatever it is, but we've had major milestones. I mean, I had a baby. Everyone.
Yeah, that's a curse.
That's a curse.
That was your first mistake.
Devil child. Liam, I love you.
50 days of our lives is what it is.
There you go.
But we've been through it all together,
For sure. We've had our ups and downs and medical stuff, and we've all just been there for each other. You're the guys, and I think it's really cool because they're the first ones I message. Oh my gosh, this is going on, and we're just really close friends.
It's all part of the circle tour of life, everybody. See what I did there? See what I did there? Okay, Mindy, next question's coming to you. That's what are mouse ears for 50, Alex? Just kidding.
I was like, wait.
She's looking at me now going, that's not what you're saying. Mindy, where did Walt... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that was passengers what deer in the headlights look like, because I was like, wait, what am I missing? I don't know.
No, Mindy, where did Walt's Up come from?
I love it. So when we first got together, and we've had meetings and all been on at the same time, but recording, this was back in episode 0. And we had some practice runs, and we get on and we did some dry runs, if you will, and we kind of talked about what we wanted the show to become. And we really didn't want it to be, so line by line, precept upon precept. We really wanted it to just be a flow and have a friendship feeling. So we were talking, what do we want in our show? What do we want to have happen? And I kind of sat there and we were talking about things. And I said, what if we do a segment every week that just gives people a little bit about us, something into our lives? And we thought, well, what's up? What's up with you? And I said, no. What if we do Walt's Up? Walt's Up. So Walt's Up, for all our new passengers, we take the time at every show, every beginning, and we go around and we say, Walt's Up with you, Stan. And we talk about what's been going on in our lives, whether it with Disney. It has to be Disney related. So if it's Disney news we want to share, anything that sparked our little Disney flair. So we get to that's my Walt's Up for the week, throughout the week, and something fun that pops up. So we do a Walt's Up, and that's where it came from.
That's terrific. It's a nice way to sort of make it go more beyond just the scope of the podcast, but it's about people involved in the podcast as well.
And it's definitely not scripted, as Mindy said. Sometimes we have to think about it beforehand.
Question number 4. And no, I won't throw you another ringer. Jason, where'd you come up with the idea for the logo?
Well, I didn't want to use clip art. I wanted to make something for us that would be very marketable. down the road, if we did really well, something we could put on merchandise. I never talk about this on the show, and I'll never bring it up again. But I'm a content creator. I have a graphic novel series of my own. I'm trying to get out there. It's Disney in my style.
Oh, fantastic! 'Cause I've seen the logo itself has a very retro graphical kind of look. I like the sort of squares and triangles, and it just got a really. I love the retro feel of it. Like it looks like something you would have seen on World of Disney or something on the old shows with Walt himself hosting. So I have to tell you, that's something I've always actually wanted to ask about.
Yeah, when Jason first showed us the logo, I immediately loved it. I just I was like, okay, that's it. Don't change anything. I love it. Take one is perfect, and it has a very Mary Blair look to it, kind of a small world. And it's the first thing that rang with me, and the colors that were involved with it. Yeah, no, Jason, you did a marvelous job with it.
It's quirky, and
yes.
It explains us. And I saw it, and I was like, "That's so us." It's not. It doesn't fit your average mold of, oh, there's the Disney castle. It's quirky and it's fun, and it really emulates who we are as a group.
Yeah, has the castle, has the spaceship, has everything we need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all my stuff kind of has that Mary Blair look where it's all set in the 60s and things free float in space and there's no 3 dimensions. So I'll never bring it up again.
Except to say donations can be made here at... So sitting next to me, of course, Stan Solo. And Stan, you're going to tell us a little about the theme music and Sam the Eagle. You bunch of weirdos. Where did it all come from, Stan?
Yeah, well, every podcast kind of needs a theme song, and I never ever did theme music before. And actually, I reached out to Ricky DJ Technoid Reed to ask him to make our theme song. And he wasn't well at the time. He was having issues of his own, and he wanted to make one, but he mentioned that, it might take me a while. He says, he had faith in me to do it myself. He said, just kind of do what you think. And I was kind of giving him ideas what I wanted. And he said, Stan, I think you could do this. So I've never ever did a mix before. So I, kind of with Ricky's saying you could do it, I wanted it to be about transportation. I wanted it to have, obviously, the Grand Circle Tour from the Disneyland Railroad. And I wanted it to have stuff from Disneyland and Disney World in it. So I got the monorail from Disney World. I got the train station from the Disneyland, the Grand Circle Tour announcement. Added the soaring music, which I just love. And then Nikki's husband. And by the way, Nikki wasn't able to be with us today. Neither was Elisa. We're hoping that they'll be back with us soon. But anyways, I went ahead with the kind of playing around with different soundtracks, and I came up with several different ones. I would send it out to the guys and the girls, and I say, "What do you think of this?" And they would say, "Well, do this different, do this different." Actually, George was very instrumental in giving me suggestions, and I would tweak it and twerk it. And yeah, Mindy's husband is the voice of Sam the Eagle. That's his voice that did the recording. And the rest was history. It was a matter of just putting it together, and we used it ever since.
And it's terrific, by the way. It's something I really sort of kind of look forward to hearing every week.
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback on the opening music.
And if I could,
free for all.
I'm sorry, if I could just add just one thing. And at that point in time when Stan was creating the introduction, Jay created the logo, and everything just fit, it harmonized together. And that's like in that moment, that's when I noticed that this was something special that was going to come about. It was like, wow, we're actually starting to go somewhere.
Yeah, and the Grand Circle Tour name came along, and we're kind of like, okay, this is going to be about Disney transportation. So we're like, let's be tour guides, let's be conductors, let's be captains, rather than being hosts. And it just sort of fell into place, like making a puzzle. Everything just got together.
And we move forward. Continuing on, beverages are being served in the back at the moment. Okay, so again, free for all now. I think this is something we'll just sort of let everybody rumble here. Put on your elbow pads and let's get into it. What is everyone's favorite episode? And we will start with, let's start with Dan for $50.
Oh, my favorite. I think my favorite episode, which just kind of turned into an inside joke, is one of the episodes that I hosted. Not to be conceited, but the first episode where I gave my point system out. Everyone's laughing at me.
Infamous point system.
The infamous.
We need to do another point system show.
I think we did that show on our favorite music, and I gotta give Jason so much credit because it's something that he does. He puts so much work into the show editing. It's unbelievable. You know, I can't imagine how many hours, Jed, that you put in this. We really, really thank you for it. But he edited the show with the music for all the attraction music that we all picked, and you know, and then I came up with this corny point system that everyone hates me for, and you know. But it was definitely one of the more fun episodes, and we all were dying laughing, and it was just such an awesome time.
I'm still holding on to that, Dan, with the low point for Pandora, you know that.
Don't worry, passengers. There'll be more episodes with the points. Trust me.
Caroline, your favorite episode and why?
I'm going to go. Well, I'll just say this. I love to host, but I'm not going to say that my episodes that I host are my favorite because that's weird. But I do. I love to host. But
Points only.
But the points episodes, oh my gosh. I will give you. I enjoy the game, and I'm with you. The Pandora episode where we didn't get the points for the Pandora. Come on, because he hasn't been on it. So they were fun to do.
My show, my rules.
Right. I'm aware now.
You go in, one comes out. That's a different one. Mindy, same question.
This is a hard one. You know, I'm sitting here looking back, and I've had time to think about it, but it's really hard to pinpoint out of all the episodes, even the detour ones. But I wouldn't say any one particular. But what I do love is the ones we completely die laughing at. But as far as the ones I've listened to, I really, really, really enjoyed. I don't know the name of it, but they talked about the music that's heard all around the different properties and what our favorite sounds are. Was it that one? I don't think so. It was points. Oh, you know what? You're right. It was about like the different points. But it wasn't that just it was funny, but I didn't know what it was called. But I love that one. Talking about all the different music and all the feels that come with it, and you're walking down Main Street, and I really enjoyed listening to that one, and it was funny. So I guess that just takes the cake right there. Dan, you're the best. You win MVP of the year for the best one, because I had no clue that that's what we were talking about. I wasn't on that episode. I just really liked listening to it.
Mindy, you know what other one I really loved was, and it was just me and you, Mindy. We did the opening for the Christmas episode. And there's a reason I love that episode is because she's laughing in the background here. What you all don't know is that, so we all live around the country, and I'm in New York, and Mindy's in Arizona. And I made Mindy get up. At what time was it, Mindy?
Butt crack o' dawn.
7 a.m. her time. The week of Christmas, right? I think it was like a couple days before Christmas that we did
recorded that.
And we were both in our pajamas, so tired. Our voices were just not there. It was so funny.
Yeah, you could probably hear that from me too, because I did not go to bed. Like, I had gone shopping, and you know, it is Christmas and trying to get it ready, and oh my gosh, I just remember waking up going, oh my gosh. And you could hear it in the episode. So if you want to go back and I'm not a morning person. So to the point that I don't even take my kids to school. Like, the bus comes, picks them up, and my husband drives them, and I'm in bed till 8. So yeah.
You guys were really hard to cut in that one, not because there was anything wrong, but you guys were so entertaining.
Really?
That it killed me to cut sections out.
It was a good episode. I will. Like I said, it's hard to pick which one's your favorite, because how do you pick? They're all like our little babies. We love doing them. Every show has knocked it out of the ballpark with what it brings to the table. And we're all just great friends. And it's hard to say which one's the best. It really is.
Jason, same question for you as well.
I have an easy answer. My favorite episode is episode 0. There was a moment, I just remember this moment looking at everybody on screen when we were recording and knowing that this was going to work, that we had something special together.
That's the best.
That's so sweet. We should have saved that for last. When you're editing, chop that out to the last thing. That should be where we finish. Because I hate to put you on the spot, George, but your favorite. Now, follow up that. Go ahead. You have 10 seconds.
Oh, I could definitely follow that up. My favorite episode was an all guys adventure. It was me, Dan, and Jason. Mm-hmm. They already know. I could see the look on their face, especially Jay. He knows which one I'm talking about. The episode was about staying cool at the Disney parks.
Like temperature-wise, not like...
Yeah,
wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, not like Fonzie-wise.
Wearing a leather jacket, that's cool.
Staying cool.
In August.
Of what the kids do, they walk down Main Street now and they do the floss. You know, that like... But, so, yeah, it was how to keep cool from the heat and everything, and we were throwing back and forth, like, different ideas, and I forget how it came to me, where Jay asked a question and I answered it about what Disney calls the wash and spin cycle at Animal Kingdom with Cali River Rapids and Primeval Whirl. And passengers, you'll find out why this is my favorite when we get to the outtakes. But I had answered in a certain way and moved my arms in a certain gesture that for 5 minutes, we couldn't continue. We literally had to wait, honestly, until Jay stopped laughing. Because it just took him, as I said, a good 5 minutes to regain himself to continue on with the adventure.
And let me paint a picture for the passengers. I would have been fine had George not unintentionally made a hand gesture. You'll know what it is when you hear it coming up. I was done because of you.
Well, it was about, I think, 8 months later that we finally did another all male episode. Because from that moment over, we were like, we need females on the show. There's no way.
Caroline and Mindy are going to be on every episode.
We need adult supervision.
I don't know that I'm any better.
That's true.
Mindy may be the worst out of all of us.
I might be. I don't know.
Okay, I think at this point now we're going to actually make a draw, apparently. We've got a name coming out here. Somebody's going to win a Kevin John print. And hopefully the eggs are rolling here. You really just have the coolest stuff in your place, Stan. You really do. All right.
Who else has a bucket full of eggs?
Exactly. This is better than bingo, everybody.
So right. Zero. We have 0 props. Now we have all these props.
All right. And I'll take Wally Cox, the center square and the winner is, if I can get this open. I didn't know this wasn't in my contract. I didn't know I was going to have to do physical stuff.
All right. Name you can't pronounce.
Oh, thank God it is. Kevin Stacy has won.
Yay!
Kevin John print.
Oh, Kevin! All right,
Kevin, way to go. So I assume we'll be contacting.
Yeah, we'll contact Kevin, and we'll give the name off to Kevin John, and he'll have to contact Kevin, and he'll mail it straight from his place from Kevin's house to Kevin's house.
That's amazing.
So congratulations.
Thanks, listeners. We appreciate all of our passengers. So, congratulations.
Hey, Stan, what's Kevin the Balloon's last name? Would it happen to be Stacy?
Yes, it was actually.
Yeah.
You know what? I just realized Kevin Stacy lives in Winnipeg. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you don't really know. Stan just reminded me. I made a bit of a boo-boo here. I didn't ask Stan what his favorite episode is. So maybe this is probably it now, because Kevin, you won a prize and he gets to give away prizes. So that's Stan's favorite episode now.
Actually, my favorite one are the ones that I'm not on. I like it when
So do we all, Stan.
Yeah, well, yeah, everyone knows those ones. That's everyone's favorite. But no, I tune in and I get to hear what these guys are talking about behind my back.
Oh, no, you don't.
But honestly, the Christmas episode and episode 0 would be, it's hard to pick between those two. And the point one as well. Now that Dan mentioned the point one. Those are my three favorite by far. But I think this episode 0 would have been my favorite one as well.
I just have to say, I cannot stand the point system. I can't stand it. I don't like it.
When are we on again next, George? I'm in trouble.
When is Dan in charge again?
Dude, I love the point system. I conquered last time.
Well, the other point one was the sandwiches, wasn't it? Or no, that was a different one altogether. Never mind.
Whose favorite lands?
Yeah.
So something that is rarely done in radio, television, or anything like that, we're going to give everybody kind of a look behind the scenes, going to pull back the curtain and let people hear some of the bloopers, the outtakes from our shows. Now, if anybody wants to take a minute to run and call your lawyer or maybe let your wife kind of, wives or husbands, just this is the point where embarrassment rules, but we're going to take a second here and we're going to listen to some outtakes from the show, and maybe we're going to find out exactly what the whole thing about the Christmas episode and what the whole thing about the bloopers is all about. So let's roll some bloopers here.
Take it away, Kevin.
Kent.
Say it
Ken.
again.
Sorry.
We'll cut this out. Just say that last sentence again.
Why did I say Kevin?
Clark Kent.
Okay. So everybody, with that said, have a magical day, and remember, take it away, Kent.
No, Ken, no, and Ken.
Why did I say? I knew that. I thought you just said Kent. Okay, one more time. And with that said, guys, have a magical night, and take it away, Ken.
No, it's Kent with a T. No, I'm joking.
I was going to punch you because I was like, that is it. Because I said Kevin, Kent, and then Ken. But I knew it was Ken. I don't even know why I said Kevin.
No, that's going on the blooper reel this year.
Carolyn, you had to say for Ken, take it away for the end outro.
Say, Ken, take it away for the end?
Yeah.
Ken, take it away for the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me when to say that. Oh. Ken, take it away for the end. Should I say it a different way?
Okay, should we use that, or should we just have her say, Ken, take it away?
Ken,
yeah, for the end! No, I get it!
Take it away.
I get it! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I wanted to tell you, but I just couldn't stop laughing.
Hey, Stan, you need cue cards. Just, that's what your job should
be. I typed it out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's in the chat.
I'm sorry, I can't read it. And
are you sure you were drinking before you
Here's my water. Yeah, I don't know how to drink. Okay, so I'll say it again. Do you want me to say it again?
Isn't Primeval World the same ride at DCA called Goofy Sky School? Are they the same attraction?
It's the same type of ride system. It's sort of like a mouse coaster, except
Crazy Mouse. Yep.
Except in Primeval World, you actually spin while you're going through like a zigzag, like a pinball. Where Goofy Sky School, it's just a one dimension of zipping through the corners. So you do a lot of spinning while jerking on Primeval World. On the corners. Jerking on the corners.
Cut it out.
Cut it.
Wow, we're on fire today.
I'm sorry.
Holy mackerel.
Oh,
sorry.
I knew it. Right after I said it, I looked at Jay's face and I thought, oh my God.
Oh, man.
I told myself, how I can lose it?
We're going to have to publish a episode that was cut and then an unedited version.
What happens when we don't have girls on the show to keep us on good behavior?
We got at all times. We can never have an all male show ever.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I remember where we were now. So embarrassed. Okay, sorry.
Let me just say, the Primeval World does a lot of spinning, and Goofy Sky School does not.
Yeah, just stick with that.
This is what happens with me when I go in too much detail.
I'm so sorry. Stop over here.
This is like almost crying over there.
All
right. Let's everyone deep breaths.
Phew. Should we say something we just cut that for laughter?
So I pretty much did my number 2 and 1. So
go ahead if you can, George. Just do that last part again so I can cut it in.
Oh Lord, that was hilarious. You people are nuts. I didn't realize when I said it earlier, a bunch of weirdos. I didn't realize it was true. Oh, back to question and answers, I think. George, tell us about detours. How did they come about, and what can passengers look forward to?
Well, the concept came about not too long ago. It wasn't part of the beginning process. I would say it was after we did our holiday special. We each had a segment to where we picked a guest on that we wanted to interview or talk about, things in the Disney community. And after that, it just kind of stuck in my mind that I thought, because we all have busy schedules, we all are in different time zones, that if any time that any one of us want to record with someone and just kind of like on the fly, like there's no specific reason, there's nothing set up on the schedule, it's just, just go for it. And that kind of stuck in my head. And I was on with, I believe it was Stan and Jason, and I threw the idea to them that why don't we do something as like a bonus adventure that may come out during the week with our normal regular show. And the title came up that it would segue out off the page, so to speak, of what our podcast is all about. So it's the Grand Circle Tour. So I thought, well, if we're going off the rails, it would be a detour. So I threw that idea to them, the Grand Circle Tour detour. So from there, passengers can look forward to, we have Ron Schneider that we recorded, Jay and I, who was the original Dreamfinder. And we have some other people lined up, more so for a surprise, to see what passengers can expect. But that's how that came about.
Terrific. Question here now. What advice, if you were talking to yourself a year ago, would you give yourself? Other than, of course, don't do this. What advice would you give yourself? So we're going to open that up to everybody. And, well, George, let's start with you, because I ended with you last time, so we'll start with you this time.
I would probably say to tell myself to look up everyone much sooner, just to be friends with them even prior to the podcast. I mean, I love how it ended up where we all became friends on a whim, just of a miraculous miracle that we all, we're all different people, but we all have something in common, and we all kind of bounce off of one another. And I like to call it, we create like a Seinfeld moment. But yeah, so I would definitely say, if I can go back or talk to myself a year, would be to tell myself to find everyone much sooner.
They're running high here, listeners, passengers, everybody. Mindy, what would you tell yourself a year ago?
What would I tell myself a year ago? That's a great question, Kevin.
Thank you, Mandy.
Kent with a T.
Yeah.
Kent with a T. No, thanks, Ken.
Whatever.
Well, I have to insert something there. You had just started putting that at the end, and I wasn't on that episode. So the next one, I had heard it, and I don't know where I got Kevin. I don't really, but I had heard it. And then I said Kent because I felt like Dan said Kent. And I was like, Kent? It's not Kent.
New York accent.
Yeah, so I'm going to blame it on Dan.
So Mindy's
Anyway.
advice is to learn Ken's name sooner.
It is, yeah.
So we got a blooper rule.
It's kind of going down that vein is, we are very, we do this fly by the seat of our pants feel to the show. But in reality, behind the scenes, we use apps to keep track of each other and know which shows we're going to be on. And those shows of whoever's hosting can get on and be able to look and kind of talk amongst that little group and figure out what the topic is and just have fun with it. Well, I think just from the beginning get-go, I really should have been better at making sure which shows I was on. But coordinating those things. So it's more of a, paper task thing that it took some time for me to really get down. And once we changed to the app, it got better. So it's just a learning process. It's a learning process for us all. And be able to not talk so much. I'm a social butterfly. So sometimes I just had to learn to shut up. So there you go, passengers.
Jason, to you.
I've thought about this. I don't think I could give myself any advice because I just took a big leap of faith and trusted everyone.
Okay, fair enough. Caroline?
That is my sentiment exactly. I don't have any advice for myself way back a year ago. It's been a blast, and I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I've gotten to meet these wonderful people and talk about one of my most favorite subjects in the world and be creative and feel like I'm helping people that are listening. Because we talk about things, we try to educate. We had to try to have fun and educate. And I just keep enjoying it is what I would say.
Fair enough. Stan?
Well, with the 8 of us, at first I was kind of at a part where I didn't really, I wasn't excited about not being on that often. And I was kind of like, at the beginning, I was like, this is great, except I got to be on more often. Like, I'm not on enough. And as time goes on, you start, you're on often enough. And I would just be kind of relax more at the beginning because I was almost like getting frustrated at the beginning, whereas now it's not that it's a chore to be on, but now it's smoothed out. We got our rhythm going, and I knew that was going to come. I just kind of wish I would have had that knowledge before I got all antsy about it, because there was times where I was like, I got to break away and start my own thing, and I'm glad I didn't.
Okay, Dan, last thought on this question?
I would say, it's hard because in my outside life, my real life, I guess, I'm a very outgoing person. I have a job where I do a lot of public speaking and things like that. So I was like, oh, this will be no problem. And then I got behind the mic the first couple times, and I was like, blah, 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 and just stuttering a lot. And I would give the advice I'd give to myself is that just be more confident. And it's a topic that that you love, you have a passion for. That's why you're doing a podcast on it. Just speak your mind. And I think those first couple times that we had those meetings, I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of nervous. It's 7 other strangers I've never met before, and I was like, what's this all about? This is kind of creepy in a way.
You didn't show it at all, Dan. You didn't show you're being nervous at all.
I
didn't sense it anyways.
I'm good at hiding it, but
you're very good.
I still, I think I still get nervous sometimes. When we're all sitting there chit chatting, and then we said, okay, let's hit record, and when there's a couple seconds of silence, that's when the nerves start kicking in. But then you just start like talking about what you love, and it goes so natural and easy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at the beginning, we were actually talking that you were going to be the host at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was one of the suggestions that was put. I think you and Mindy were going to be switching back and forth, and then Mindy suggested myself. And then I think at that point I said, well, why don't we all just rotate?
Right.
Being the host.
And he meant that in the nicest way, that you should all rotate. Okay, so I guess we're coming close to the end of this here. And I'm not going to just point fingers this time. Let's just say, let's throw it out here, everybody. Your favorite memory from the first year. So everybody just sort of jump in, preferably not all at once, but everybody just kind of jump in. And what's your favorite memory for the first year, and what are you looking forward to in the next?
You know what? I just want to say, Ken, it was great when you kind of came on board. That was a great memory when it kind of like we were having hard time reading this, how to get in touch with us, like our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page. And I was like, well, I got this guy at work that, Ken and I, we work together in our real lives. And I got this guy at work. He has a great voice. Why don't we just get him to record our outro? And he could tell us, everybody, about the Twitter and the Facebook account. And I thought it was a great memory where I came up to you and I said, Ken, would you mind recording? Sure, no problem. And I've asked you to record a few things for us. And I really appreciate every time I've asked you without hesitation, yeah, I could do that. No problem. I'll get it. Where do you want it by? I want to thank you for helping us out throughout the past year.
Well, that's been my pleasure. And I'm the little bit that I've been involved in your podcast, I'm more than happy to be involved.
I'll just add on to that, Stan, because not only Ken, but I think my favorite memory memories of the year is just all the people that we've had on the show, and how many people out there can say that they're quote unquote friends of the show. And you think back to a year ago when it was just the 8 of us, and we were like, yeah, no one's going to listen to this thing, And we didn't do it.
We had some amazing guests on for sure.
Yeah, we didn't do it for listeners. We didn't really, I don't think, did it for guests, but we've had some really cool guests and some really cool people out there that have, reached out to us, and we've reached out to them, and no problem coming on our show. And, that's just really cool.
And we have some great ones coming up. George?
No, I was just going to say, this may sound a little cliche or corny, but the whole entire year has been one big great memory for me. I can't really resignate to say one is better than the other, because we all had our moments. We all, a lot of us with the Outtake show, we all have our funny moments, but it kind of just compiling on what everyone has been saying so far with the guests, having Ken record our outro, Jay creating the logo, Stan creating the intro. It was like just a compile of everything, of us all working together, creating something that we all had a vision for. And as I said in the beginning of the show, 1 year later, here we are. So for me to actually say I just have a favorite memory, it would have to be compiled as this whole entire project.
Yeah. Good one, George. Jason?
I'm with George on that, but I'm going to single Dan out for a second. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite memory. No offense. But I'm walking through the Magic Kingdom for the first time in 20 years, and I get this random FaceTime call from Dan to make sure I'm having a good time.
I was in the parking lot of my job. I was like, let me see how Jason's doing.
Mindy, do you have anything you want to add in there as well?
I don't know. That's a hard question. So as far as all of them go, I don't know. Come back to me.
Mindy, it had to have been me, because Mindy and I got to meet pretty early on. That had to have been a good memory.
That was fun.
What a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I got to meet Stan last December, in fact, before our show had just started, and we kind of talked about where we wanted it to go and where it's ended up, And then the best part of it, like, what we have is that we're all equal. There's not one person that runs our show. There's not one person that owns it. There's not one person. We all do our part to make sure. I know that's way off topic, but I'm just kind of interjecting my thoughts. And I really like that, because we're all equal and meeting everybody. So I've met Stan. I'm going to meet Jason, we almost met up, and George. We're all going to. Yep, we're going to D23. We're gonna miss you, Dan. We're gonna miss you, but I get it. So we're all going to D23, and we're gonna have a blast and be able to create more memories.
And we may be going in costume.
And in costume, we are going in costume. Who lied to you?
Even Stan is going in costume.
I'll go as a Grand Circle Tour podcaster. I'll wear my podcasting shirt.
Podcasting. And you know, the thing is, everyone, he has a podcasting shirt.
all the guys do.
Caroline, do you have anything you want to add as far as favorite memory from the last year?
Just being a part of the group has been my favorite memory.
No, I would have to say that would be my favorite memory as well. So just being able to be part of your group, even in the small way that I am. And I think...
Trains in the station.
Trains in the station. Oh, that's right. Yes. Train is in the station, and I think it is time to call it a day. So I think everybody should jump on here and say, let's throw it to Kevin.
To Kent,
to whoever that guy with the voice is. Let's throw it to him. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. I want to thank everybody for being involved in the Grand Circle Tour podcast. I want to thank everybody for letting me be a small part of your podcast. And I think we will wrap it up with that by saying, take it away, me. If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tour Magical Ticket Holders. While on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tour. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, as well as Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to send us a message, you can email us at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.